I was gonna buy and sell toilet paper on eBay today, but decided to do a YouTube video instead. So today, we're gonna look at video cliches. Let's get straight into it. Okay, firstly, the obvious one. Transitions. You know what I mean. Totally overused. Some are clever, yes, and can save an otherwise boring edit. But in other times, the punchy transition just seems out of place. Same as the weird gimbal moves. Like, for no reason at all. The shot just starts rotating. Why? At least have a reason. And that's the theme for today's video. Do everything for a reason. Do it if it adds impact to your story. Not, oh, I saw this on someone else's video. Another obvious one is putting your hand in front of the camera and going, oh my God, I hate that. Who invented that? Whose fault was that? Who responsible this? The overuse of slow-mo. Everything is slow-mo. Oh. This is particularly apparent if the shooter was doing everything handheld. And I know you want to make it look smoother, so you slow everything down in post. And that's okay, I guess. But everything is slow-mo. Just gets a little bit boring. Come on, stop being lazy. Carry around a gimbal every now and then. Mix it up a little bit. Carry a tripod. I don't know. Oh, and slow-mo fills up the timeline quicker, right? Yeah. That's not cinematography. That's videography. Actually, having said that, to me these things are typical of videography. I don't call it cinematography anymore. What's the difference, you ask? Well, it's the gimmicky, campy kind of approach to everything, where everything has to be cool, like super cool. Like, just make it cool, and you're halfway there. In fact, maybe you're all the way there. Make it cool and you'll get likes. This is especially true of drone footage. Drones. Don't get me started. There's so much effort placed on this overly hyped B-roll, like drone footage and whatnot, that no one seems to even care about the message. It's like, what video are we watching again? If you only concentrate on B-roll all the time, like overly hyped B-roll, then that will surely progress into like a pissing contest, where the crazier the better. And the only thing that'll rise to the top of searches is something crazy, like those first-person drones, you know, flying fast through things. It doesn't relate to the story at all, but my gosh, it looks cool. The next big thing from DJI will be little tiny cameras stuck to the back of butterflies. You'll be searching through the movies online. What's this story about, love? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I think that story is about identity and the younger generation having a existential crisis, I think. Oh, that's the one with that awesome butterfly cam. That's the one, it's got awesome cinematography. It's got that flying butterfly cam, yeah. Oh good, let's hit the buy button. Or should it be... Okay, if you do wedding videography like me sometimes, okay, all the time, then some of the major cliches are the slide past the door to reveal the dress shot. You know what I mean. Don't even have to talk about that one. Then the other major two are the sun through the trees and the close-up of the flowers. I hate having to do these shots, honestly, but when I shoot for other people, I feel compelled to do them because people expect it now. And that's the problem, isn't it? That's where cliches come from. Either the editor expects it, or the client even expects it. You know that really shitty video you did for someone else and you had like lots of sun going through the trees? It was beautiful. It meant nothing to the wedding, but geez, it looked good. Can we have that again? And are you shooting Sony? Ah, perfect. Now, I'm not saying that these are bad shots. Sometimes they can look quite nice. But once again, a lazy editor, for example, will use that to pad up their edit. Or it's a template. Start with a speech. That always works. And then just lay over some sun through the trees shots. Or a flower pot. Before you know it, you've filled up 30 seconds of your timeline. The editor could be like, only 4.5 more minutes to go. Then I can go back to online shopping. The problem is, it's boring. It's detached. And it doesn't really tell you anything about your main characters. Or in this case, your bride and groom. It's just easy and boring. To me, the first shots of any movie, of any good movie, should be of your protagonist. Or in this case, the bride and groom. Like the first shot, you introduce the character, you introduce who you're going to care for in this movie. And if you don't do it straight away, do it pretty soon. Don't have people waiting. I mean, you can make a grand entrance, I guess. Build it up a little bit. But the longer you wait, people will think, is this a movie about that flower? Maybe that flower's coming to life. Oh, might have something there. But anyway, I do those shots if I have to. The sun through the trees. But a part of me dies. What? Oh, another awkward shot is someone looking off screen and then to camera. Off screen, then to camera. It's so awkward. It actually hurts. I look at it. I look at it and I'm hurting. And lastly, while we're talking about wedding videos, the main thing that really pisses me off, or one thing that really pisses me off that kind of makes me want to switch off, is just the overuse of slides. Slide. Oh, there's a cake. Slide. Oh, look, a pair of shoes. Slide. Oh, look, a watch. And one too many slides, and I'll just turn the video off, or I'll skip through it. Actually, if I'm being honest, I don't watch any of these videos. They're just because they're always the same. If you want to stand out, make it original. You don't have to put meteor showers or twisters or whatever in the movie. But my God, man, make something interesting. If you make all your videos slide. Oh, there's a chair. Slide. Oh, look, there's a church. Then people are going to look at that. And some people are going to go, oh, I like that. Let's get this guy to do it again. Actually, I guess I'm answering my own question there. If it's so easy to do, and then you're getting paid for it, I guess people do it because it's easy to do. And if there's a portfolio on the internet somewhere and clients go, that's amazing, look at that. When he gives a speech, those beautiful cinematic shots, the sun through the trees and then a slide of a pair of shoes. That's an amazing pair of shoes. We want that. Let's get him to do it again. So I guess I'm contradicting myself there. That's easy. Just keep repeating it. And you're getting paid. Maybe that's why. So that's why they do it. Copy stamp, copy stamp. Bring in the money. And now, the whole reason why I wanted to make this video actually, the side camera. For some reason, some time ago, someone decided it'd be a good idea to have a side camera. No matter what. Interview, tutorial, demonstration, side camera. Did they watch some kind of sports interview on TV and decide, I need that in my video? Who knows? But now it's kind of expected all the time. I think people do it without, well, even thinking about it. So the 3 things you really must know about this camera is, who are you talking to? There's no one over there. It looks like you're not talking to your audience anymore. You're not connecting to your audience. Now, arguably, the only time you really want to disconnect from your audience and tell them something about your subject in your side shot is to perhaps maybe convey something to them, like maybe it is a celebrity you're interviewing and you want to see what they're wearing. Or that's a wide shot, or a close-up, or what kind of facial hair does that person have? Maybe a celebrity just by sitting there. It's the, oh my God, it's a celebrity kind of moment. And in that sense, you're kind of thinking, wow, that celebrity's talking to me. He's talking to the camera. I think that kind of works. But that's a very special scenario, would you say? But seriously though, the only other time I've seen the side camera work was an interview for, I think it was a patient suffering a mental disorder. When the camera cut to the wide shot from the side, I felt for her sitting there, all vulnerable and isolated. And you kind of relate to her in a different way now, like what's going on inside her mind as she speaks. But you see, that's different. Now we're observing her. So that extra angle actually helped in this case. Like it was a sad story, so I could relate to her in a different way now. It's different. I'm not connecting anymore through the lens, but for this particular shot, I was observing her. And I think that's when this side shot can serve an actual purpose. Which is good. That means this whole video has a meaning now, not just talking for nothing. The side shot, therefore, can be used to tell your audience something else about the subject. You're observing the subject now. You're not getting a message directly from the subject. You're observing her or him if it's a sad story. Then you kind of, you feel their awkwardness. Or if it's a triumphant story, you can see in their body language and you can just be a part of it. You're in the room, you're watching this happen. But for everything else, this side shot just doesn't work. Like if I'm giving a seminar, I'm giving you a tutorial or a demonstration or a heartfelt message, the last thing I want to do is this. And finally, to bring it home strong, let me tell you, audience, and connect with you. What the hell am I doing? Anyway, why would you do it? Why would you purposely disconnect from your audience just to do another side shot? Because that's what you're supposed to do? Okay, if you're gonna hide a cut, and we know sometimes people hide a cut in this kind of change of camera angle. You can hide a cut by punching in, you can hide a cut by having a second wide camera, but do it really close to the original one. You can have a close-up one and a wide one. Or you can do it in 4K or 6K now. At the time of filming this, 6K is the new 4K. Oh, and by the way, if it is an interview that you're shooting, then make the interviewer sit as close as she can to the camera. The closer we can get the eyes to the lens, the more we identify with the subject. Pretty basic. So for everything else though, why would we want to look away from the camera like that? Why would we do it? To me it just looks silly. I think the answer simply is that we've seen other people do it that way. Or worse, the client asks us to do it that way. You could easily explain to them that they may look awkward and they might change their mind. And you can explain, let's instead do a close-up and a wide. Oh, actually, as a side story, of course in the past I've had to film this way. And you have to do it. You can't tell the director to get stuffed. So I filmed like that, and while filming I was just hoping that maybe whoever's editing this won't cut to a really important bit. Cut to the side camera when he's telling the heart of his story, pouring his guts out. But at that moment of impact, I was just praying that the edit wasn't like, and then she told me it was over, and I was devastated. So it just looks silly and doesn't work. You know what else is out there now to help with the side shot? they have automated slides. So it just goes back and forth. And you can set the speed and everything. So now there's a tool out there, which is scary to think, just to really cement that one in, that not only should you do this side shot that doesn't always work, but now we've got a tool for it. And to go back and forth aimlessly during the interview. Like in a motorized system, back and forth. If that isn't the cinematic equivalent of a leaf blower, then I don't know what is. Of course, the leaf blower, for those that don't know, is the single most useless invention ever. Have you ever walked past a shop and someone was cleaning the front of their shop with a leaf blower, and all they're doing is blowing dust and shit into the shop next to them? Just for hours later, the next door shop to then leaf blow all the shit back in front of his shop. Why? Whatever happened to a broom, a dustpan and broom? You lazy bastards. Or it's the lazy gardener, and they always seem to use their blower at 6 in the morning. If I was in power, I would ban all leaf blowers. Anyway, back to the point. The side camera. The point is, use it wisely. Just remember that when you are cutting to that camera, you're disconnecting from the main message. You start looking at your subject rather than connecting with your subject. So, the moral of the story is, I guess, then, if you're using this side shot or any of the other shots we talked about, if you're motivated by telling your story, then usually it won't be a cliche. But if you're just padding things up with eye candy, then it's pretty much the total opposite. There's a good chance it will look like a cliche. Anyway, that's enough for today. I'm done.